Hello my dear students. In our lesson today we are going to study Unit 1. Today we are going to study the grammar lesson in Unit 1, which is about necessity, lack of necessity, prohibition. In our lesson we are going to know the difference between must and have to. When should we use must and when should we use have to? Let's begin with must. We use must in number 1, strong advice. When you give advice to someone, for example, you must eat healthy food. We use must in obligation. For example, you must send your application before the end of this month. In warm invitation. For example, you must come and see us at the weekend. When we try to remind ourselves that we must do something, in a strong reminder to ourselves. For example, we must buy souvenirs for our friends here. When should we use have to or has to? We use have to or has to say that something is important or necessary. For example, modern hospitals have to have the best technology. Mustn't. We use mustn't in prohibition. When I say you mustn't smoke here, you mustn't smoke here. Drivers mustn't park in a no parking area. We also use mustn't in strong negative advice. For example, you mustn't eat too much chocolate. The word mustn't equals it's banned, it's forbidden, it's prohibited, it's not allowed. For example, when I say you mustn't park here, it means it's banned to park here, or you aren't allowed to park here, or parking here is not allowed. What about don't have to or doesn't have to? We use don't have to, doesn't have to. We use them to say that something is not important and it's not necessary to do it. For example, I don't have to work on Fridays. What is the difference between must and have to? We use must with inner obligation, when the person believes that it's his duty to do something. For example, my Uncle Ali is ill, so it's my duty to visit him. So here in this sentence I should use must. I must visit him because the person here believes that it's his duty to visit his uncle because he is ill. So we use must with inner obligation. But when should we use have to? We use have to or has to with external obligation. When there are external circumstances or other circumstances that force someone to do something. It's raining, for example, it's raining, I have to wear a coat. Here in this sentence, there are external circumstances that forced me to wear a coat. It's raining, so I have to wear a coat. Now it's time for some important notes. When we talk about something which is necessary, we use, in the present, we use have to, or has to, or need to. The words have to, has to, or need to equal it's necessary to do something, or it's necessary for a person or for someone to do something. For example, it's necessary for all of us to save water. That means that we all have to save water. This is in the present. But what about the past? In the past we use had to or needed to. Had to or needed to. Had to or needed to equals it was necessary to do something, or it was necessary for someone to do something. For example, it was necessary for him to train hard before the match. That means that he had to train hard before the match. What about the future? In the future we use will have to or will need to. Will have to or will need to equals it will be necessary to do something. When we talk about something which is not necessary, we use in the present, we use don't have to or doesn't have to. Don't have to or doesn't have to means it isn't necessary to do something. For example, it isn't necessary for her to buy more dresses. This means that she doesn't have to buy more dresses. In the past, we use didn't have to. Didn't have to equals it wasn't necessary for someone to do something, or it wasn't necessary to do something. For example, it wasn't necessary to phone Ahmed after midnight. That means that she didn't have to phone Ahmed after midnight. In the future, we use won't have to or won't need to. Won't have to or won't need to equals it won't be necessary to do something. Now it's time for practice. Let's answer some exercises together. Choose the correct answer from A, B, C or D. Number 1. You space smoke in petrol stations. Ought, mustn't, needn't, should. Of course, the right answer is number B. You mustn't smoke in petrol stations. It's banned to smoke in petrol stations. Number 2. You space do all this hard work alone. It's my duty to help you. Need to, have to, don't need to, must. So the right answer is number C. You don't need to or you don't have to. You don't need to do all this hard work alone. It's my duty to help you. The right answer is number C. Number 3. You space take a taxi. I will give you a lift. You have to, you mustn't, you don't have to, you must. Yes, the right answer is number C. You don't have to take a taxi. Number 4. You space see a doctor. You look very ill. You must, you mustn't, you needn't, you don't have to. Yes, the right answer is number A. You must see a doctor. You look very ill. Number 5. You space spend too much money. You won't have any left for your holiday. You should, you mustn't, you don't need to, you have to. Yes, the right answer is number B. You mustn't spend too much money. You won't have any left for your holiday. Number 6. You space take an umbrella if you are going to Egypt. It doesn't often rain there. You haven't to, you don't need to, you must, you need to. Yes, the right answer is number B. You don't need to take an umbrella. It's not necessary to take an umbrella if you are going to Egypt because it doesn't often rain there. You space take that book back to the library yet. You can keep it for another week. You must, you don't have to, you need to, you mustn't. Yes, the right answer is number B. You don't have to. You don't have to take that book back to the library yet. You can keep it for another week. You space speak so loudly we are in the library. Of course, speaking in the library is forbidden, so the right answer will be number B. You mustn't speak so loudly we are in the library. When you arrive in another country, you space show your passport. You mustn't, you should, you have to, you don't need to. So the right answer is number C. You have to show your passport. What do I space do to get a driving license? What do I? Yes, the right answer is number B. What do I have to do to get a driving license? Why did you space go to hospital? Must, have to, will have to, had, got to. So the right answer will be number B. Why did you have to go to hospital? The right answer is number B. Does he space bring the money with him? have to, need, ought to, have got. Yes, the right answer is number A. Does he have to bring the money with him? Use space, help me. If you don't have time, I can do it myself. Yes, the right answer is number A. You don't have to help me. If you don't have time, I can do it myself. I space go to hospital tomorrow to have my eyes checked. Must, have to, will have to, have got to. Of course, the word tomorrow say that this thing must be done in the future, so I will have to. The right answer is number C. I will have to go to hospital tomorrow to have my eyes checked. Again, number 14, the right answer, as we mentioned before, will be I will have to go to hospital tomorrow to have my eyes checked. Number 15, hurry up, Rodina, we space be late. We didn't have to, we mustn't, we haven't got to, we needn't. Yes, the right answer will be number B, we mustn't. He space tell me again, I can remember everything he said. Yes, the right answer number A, he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to tell me again, I can remember everything he said. Nanda space buy a new tablet. Her old one is still very good. The right answer number D, doesn't have to. Nada doesn't have to buy a new tablet. Her old one is still very good. My aunt was in hospital. I space visit her yesterday. We had to concentrate on the word yesterday. Yesterday, so the right answer will be number D, had to. My aunt was in hospital. I had to visit her yesterday. Because had to is the past tense from must. I had to visit her yesterday. I have warned you before, you space play football in the street. Don't have to, needn't, mustn't, don't need to. Yes, the right answer is number C. You mustn't play football in the street. Ahmed can't come out with us this evening. He space work. Yes, the right answer is number B. He has to work. My old dictionary is useless. I space buy a new one. I don't have to, I need, I mustn't, I must. Yes, the right answer is I must. Number D. My old dictionary is useless. I must buy a new one. Well, he hasn't been invited to the party, so I think he space go. Don't have to, don't need to, haven't got to, hasn't got to. The right answer is number D, hasn't got to go. Now, my dear students, we have finished our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Thank you and goodbye.